Hello there. My name is Murray. I'm with my co-host Corey. We are the Real Guys, and this is the Real Show with two E's. Now, we've got a packed show for you today, and we are number one platform on the airwaves and YouTube for pop culture, film, and television discussion. As always, I'm accompanied by my co-host Corey. How are you doing today, Corey?
I'm doing good. Do you want to know why I'm doing good, Murray?
Why are you doing good?
Because busting makes me feel good.
Busting makes you feel good.
As
So,
a segue, if you want one.
Great. If that isn't a hint, viewers, to what we're doing today. Actually, at the time of recording, the date is the 18th of November 2021, and it is the release of Ghostbusters Afterlife here in the UK, which is the sort of spiritual sequel, sort of soft reboot sequel, Ghostbusters 3 to Ghostbusters 1 and 2. So today, in honour of that, in honour of the release, we've got it dead on, Corey. I'm proud of us.
We have. This is definitely intentional.
It is definitely intentional, not something we just thought of last week and I think even said on the air.
Yeah, we did.
Something that we said during our last week's episode. We are reviewing Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, 1984. A film that's very close to Corey's heart, I understand.
Well, I just happened to have been listening to listen to the theme song for multiple times today.
Yeah, to get yourself in the mood. So, what's your first experience? Let's ask. We always do this. We always seem to start with what is our first experience of this film to get us warmed up.
I'm going to get some flack for this from all the film students, all right? Technically, this was my first time seeing Ghostbusters.
I was drinking, Corey. I would have done a spit take.
I heard that.
I would have done. For your first time seeing Ghostbusters all the way through.
Yes, I would say technically because I've essentially.
What's the technical? What's the technical about it?
Film, but I've not sat through the whole film. All in once, but I have essentially seen the whole film in different parts, different sections, and before.
Okay.
But I've never sat down and watched it start to finish.
Well, I have, but it was many years ago. Yeah, I believe I was very small and very young, and it may have been on television or something. You put it on like ITV and like around Christmas time.
That's what I mean. It's like the amount of times I've seen it on ITV and I've caught it like halfway through, or I've caught it near the end, or I've caught it at the start. And it's like I've seen so many different sections, but not once until now have I sat through the whole thing.
Okay, well, that was my first experience. Just watch. I think I did see it all the way through when I was just young.
Yeah.
On Christmas time, you catch Ghostbusters and I'll watch it.
Christmas time.
It's. Yeah, around Christmas time, they always show like Harry Potter and
but I mean Harry Potter has
like
Christmassy themes. I don't think Ghostbusters.
Does Ghostbusters have Christmas? I don't know. I think
it does.
Ghostbusters is like Halloween, I guess, for ghosts.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's sort of dive in, shall we? Yes. I did a bit of research beforehand.
Ooh.
Initial title wasn't actually Ghostbusters because there was an old television series that was called The Ghostbusters. So they were going to either call it Ghost Stoppers, Ghost Breakers, or Ghost Smashers, which I think Ghost Smashers sounds pretty cool.
It doesn't quite have the same same ring to it, does it?
Initially, the concept for this film came from sort of Dan Aykroyd's past, because his family was sort of involved in sort of belief and fascination with the paranormal. His father had wrote a book called The History of Ghosts, and his mother was always a skeptic, and his great grandfather was not like a priest, but like a spiritualist, or involved in sort of the occult and stuff like that. So, and in 1981, he read an article on quantum physics and parapsychology called The Journal of the American Society for Physical Research, which gave him the idea to how to trap spirits, how to trap ghosts, and then there was the sort of an adaptation of the sort of comedic ghost films of the mid 20th century. Sorry, like Bob Hope was in sort of where they'll get like a comic actor. They'll get like a comic actor like James Stewart and stuff, and they'll like have him run away from like a floaty apparition ghost in like a matte painting.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd wrote the film for initially John Belushi and Eddie Murphy and himself. But I think Eddie Murphy was filming Beverly Hills Cop. Then John Belushi unfortunately passed away during early stages of the script writing. So then they got in Bill Murray to take Murphy's part. Because he's funny. They're getting another comedian. Harold Ramis just wanted to take Egon because he felt like no one else could do it apart from him.
Yeah.
Which is nice to get yourself in the film. And I have to say that Egon is my favorite Ghostbuster.
See, I knew this question was going to come up.
Oh, really? I have a favorite Ghostbuster.
I knew you was going to ask it. Egon's good.
Yeah.
And I like Egon. I do like Winston, though.
Do you?
Yeah, which I feel like's probably the least
Oh,
popular choice, but I
I
quite
have
like
to go.
him.
Right. Well, here's my reasoning. I like Egon
Okay.
because he's so straight
Yeah.
that it's funny in the way that sometimes you get a straight man, and the joke is that the straight man is stranger than the strange man, right?
Yes.
Monty Python does that a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Egon is so straight that it never ever drops ever, and I'm like, that's really funny. Like one of my favorite things is, as I say that they say that 90% of this film was ad libbed or
Yes.
something like that. Like a lot of
Yeah.
it was just Bill Murray riffing, and they managed to, because not a lot of films work like that.
I was going to mention also there's the scene where Lewis is having the party and it's go around every single guest and trying to talk to them, and it's all one shot, and all of that is on the spot. None of that's
Yeah, but I adore Moranis. I think he's great.
He's really good.
I'm a big Spaceballs fan.
Yeah, so am I.
I'm
I
a big
think I've
Spaceballs
recommended
fan.
that before.
Have you or I have?
I might
One of
have
us must
done.
have.
One of us have.
One of us must have recommended Spaceballs. Because maybe I would have recommended Spaceballs if it was my rec this week. Maybe I would have recommended Spaceballs.
Yeah.
But it isn't, unfortunately. It's yours.
It's mine.
Winston's a bit of a fun character himself, you know.
I liked him. As a character, I liked him. Oh, he also added, I guess, in a way, he's the only one that, or at least he's the only one that mentions the fact that he's religious. And so it kind of adds a whole thing, like he thinks it's the end of the world and that's why everything's coming back and whatnot.
The discussion, and I really like that scene, actually.
It's a good scene.
I think as a kid, I may have been mentally removed from it because it's just two people talking in a car. But now, you know, they're not firing lasers at ghosts, and there's no, you know, practical ghost effects or whatever. There's nothing for me to gawk at as a child.
Yeah, exactly.
But listening to it now, it's actually quite profound.
You have the opposite side, which is this film has a very good product placement.
Does it?
Twinkies.
Oh, I've never
That's
really. I've never.
That's
had
not
a
a comedic joke. That's like a Wayne's World situation where he's holding a Domino's box.
Yeah.
Or like a Pepsi can. It's the same thing. It's just talking about a Twinkie. It seems natural. It's like, oh yeah,
you would talk about a Twinkie.
Yeah, well, if you've got one in front of you, okay, here's a thing. It's gonna be bigger than this.
Yeah, it's a big Twinkie.
I love that line so much. The amount of times I kept repeating that.
What, saying that's a big Twinkie?
That's a big Twinkie. Yeah. It's all the time. I don't know why. I don't know about one line cracked me up. I have no idea.
Well, it's going to be a big Twinkie, but I've never had a Twinkie.
I have.
Are they? But like, what are they like?
They are, if you imagine like a sponge cake kind of texture, with like this. I would say cream.
Is it whipped cream?
No, it's not. It's a thicker. It's like a thicker, not quite liquidy, but it's not as
it's like clotted cream.
Yeah, it's not as like squishy as foam cream. To be fair, they're not that great. They weren't bad. They're not great either.
This has now turned into a discussion of how to accurately describe the consistency of a Twinkie. Tell you something we can accurately describe the consistency of. That's Slimer. Let's talk about the ghost effects.
Yes.
Right? Let's talk about the ghosts in Ghostbusters or Ghostsmashers, whatever we can call it. Let's talk about the
smashing makes me feel good.
Smashing. That's going in the compilation. Right, we have the ghosts themselves, and sometimes the effects are great, and sometimes the effects are very 1984.
Yeah.
Because Slimer looks good. He's a practical effect, right? He still looks good to this day. He's a practical effect. He's a puppet. He's really there. Yes, I know he's been CGI to make him look like he's see-through and whatever.
Yeah.
But there's behind-the-scenes footage of the puppet, and it looks great. You know, he looks good. His arms are moving. His jaw's going up and down. It looks fantastic. What a take!
Yeah, Slimer's really good.
Also, the zombie ghost taxi driver in the New York and that bit, that looks great as well. That's it looks really good.
That's a weird one for me because
puppet effect,
because everything else is a ghost and see-through, and he's just there and isn't see-through.
I don't think you're supposed to question it, to be honest. He's just a ghost.
But he's not even see-through. I'm like, why does he look different?
Well, he's not. I guess he's not even see-through. But I think you're not supposed to really question the logic.
Yeah. Also, what happened to that guy?
Are they ghosts? Are they zombies?
Where did he take him?
To what guy?
The guy he got in a taxi. Where did he take him?
I know he just drove him around the city, I guess.
What happened to him?
I have no idea. It's like the library ghost as well. Looks great. The long arm.
Yeah, the library ghost is really good.
Monster with the big mouth. That looks wonderful as well. The practical effects on those should we call them by their names?
Can do.
The Zor and Vince Clortho look absolutely great. Those sort of demon dogs, the and they're sort of them. This is right. The amount of this film is shrouded in like sort of demigod mythos.
Yes.
And it's less even about ghosts, I'd say. It's more about like the sort of paranormal occult mythos of Gozer and Zool and everything like that. And I feel like that's also a world in itself. Like I always want a prequel film of all this kind of stuff because it's that interesting and it's glossed over. And I'm like, what? Yeah, but that's great, but that's also bad. I'm like, why is it? I want to know more. Why is it glossed over? But also, it's brilliant. It's not being glossed over.
Yes.
Because the fact that it is, or the fact that no one seems to people, it's just mentioned offhandedly, like, oh, who are we fighting? Oh, it's this shape-shifting god of destruction from 10,000 years ago, who's been worshipped, and this building's been built with like a massive spire to summon the god. Oh, who could have done that? Oh, I don't know. But the fact that it's mentioned so offhandedly, I'm like, oh, that's brilliant, because that makes me want to know more.
Yeah.
But despite the fact I'm never probably going to know more unless there's like a comic or a book about it, there might be. But
apparently,
yeah.
The zombie taxi driver just becomes a taxi driver.
Oh, right, okay.
I've Googled it. Apparently, he literally appears in other stuff and is just a taxi driver now.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
But we have back to Gozer and Zool, if we can. Those effects on those whatever they're called, they're sort of demigods themselves. But those like demon hellhounds, dog.
Yeah,
things,
the dog things.
They up close. They look great, right?
Yes.
Up close. Oh, the horns are moving. He's got red eyes. He's going they look wonderful. They look absolutely fantastic. But when they're sort of moving, they're not there.
Yeah.
They're stop motion claymation type movements, and they crash into Rick Moranis' party, and they're moving around like they're on tenterhooks. It's
I mean, some of his film does use stop motion for like the ghost effects if the ghosts are moving stuff, and sometimes it's fine. It's what it is. If it's a close-up shot,
you can sort of mask it in effects and stuff like that.
If it's like a close-up shot and the only thing moving is for stop motion, it's fine. But when you kind of mix the stop motion with the real world and stuff, that's when it gets a bit weird.
Yeah. Do you know that Gozer was initially going to be played by Pee Wee Herman?
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of glad they did not do that.
Yes, exactly. Well, no, I feel like Gozer looks better how he does. It's like very it's got like a very wide well, it's neither male nor female kind of form, and you don't really know what it is about it. So I feel that makes it almost quite that gives it that sort of ethereal sort of look. This shape-shifting god that can kind of become anything. It has this sort of look where it's neither male nor female. You can't really tell. So I like that a lot as well, especially for the character and the sort of it's like this god who's beyond everyone and like eternal, been around forever. So
I mean, I kind of wish. I think is what you were saying. I wish they did a bit more on it.
You know what? I'm willing to accept they don't. They don't. But yeah, sure. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I'd love to know more, definitely. But I'm not. I'm not bad. I'm not sad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or mad that they didn't choose to do so. But yeah, we have Zool and Vince Clortho, who are the gatekeeper and the keymaster, and they must join together to open the door to release Gozer from the sort of from his prison in the alternate dimension, and he comes through to Earth, and then they manage to they get him with the lasers. They get it with the lasers, and then he goes, you must choose the form of the Destructor.
Yes.
Like, okay, well, we can't think about anything. Right?
Yeah.
And then we get probably one of the best bits in the film.
With
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah. I'd say it is the best bit in the film.
The massive Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, who's huge, Godzilla-sized man in a suit. He's like the combination of like the sort of. I think when I was a child, I thought it was an American thing. Like it wasn't invented for the film. Like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was something that existed in America.
To be fair, I think when I was younger, I assumed it was similar to the Michelin Man.
I think that's not what it was based on. I think it was based off the Michelin Man and sort of the Pillsbury Doughboy from, that sort of mascot. So, the Stay Puft Marshmallow has become a staple as well, as has Slimer and Zool But we get they have to cross the streams to defeat the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and they explode. It explodes into thousands of tons of shaving cream, and splatters everybody.
Did you?
And then the city is saved.
Did you notice at the end when the Mr. Stay Puft has been killed?
Yes.
There's priests that are praying over like little bits of marshmallow on the floor.
Really?
Yeah.
I noticed they deal with religion quite a bit in this film.
Yeah, because again,
the priests are gathered around the building when there's the dark skies and when Gozer turns up.
Well, there's the part when the mayor, as well.
Yeah.
Where he comes in and he's like, "Oh, I can't give you advice on like what the religious aspects of it are," and then Winston talks to him because they've got that kind of religious connection.
Yeah.
But no, I prefer Stay Puft to. Actually, do I prefer Stay Puft to Slimer?
I know I like Slimer personally because I feel like Slimer is more of the sort of archetypal ghost.
Yeah.
And the puppet looks. I really like the puppet design.
The puppet is good.
The practical effect. I love practical effects. If any practical effect, and you've got me, right? You've got me. That's why I get so angry about Jurassic World every time we talk about it.
Yeah.
But the practical effects should really make a film where they require them, right? One of my favorite films ever. I'm not going to start. I'm just going to mention it. One of my favorite films ever, Dark Crystal. So everything's a practical effect.
Yeah, I mean it's one of my favorite films. It's The Thing, same thing. Everything's practical effects. Yeah,
The Thing. Yeah, oh god, yeah, great effects in that.
Yeah.
So we have a big love of practical effects here at the show, and Ghostbusters is a great example of that.
Do you know what? You're not going to get this, right? But for some viewers, you might be surprised if you do. For some viewers at home who are like around in the 80s and 90s, unlike I was, but I got passed down this toy. Slimer reminds me of a boglin. Do you know what a boglin is?
No, but carry on.
A boglin is an old toy from, I think they've remade them now, because 90s and 80s are back. Boglins are like this weird, like they're a hand puppet essentially, and there is weird creatures that look a bit demonic or like orcs or bats, like weird kind of, and you just put your hand in it and it moves the mouth, and they're made out like rubber.
Right. Okay.
They're really weird.
Is that because Slimer is only a pair of hands and a mouth?
Yeah, that's what Slimer reminds me of. It reminds me of a boglin.
Oh, okay.
Also, a very fun word to say.
Boglin.
They're boglin.
Right. So anyway, back to we just spent about 5 minutes talking about Slimer.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the Ghostbusters themselves, the busting. Why don't we go back to one of the human characters?
Okay.
And that being, would you say he's a villain, an antagonistic force?
Ah, okay. You're on about Mr.
Walter Peck.
Yeah.
Is he right?
I mean, okay. Well, technically, if this was real life, right, and there's people saying they could stop ghosts, and there's this massive fire station with these weird machines that were capturing ghosts, would people be skeptical? Yes. Would people want to, make sure it's not, especially now with like the the conference happened a couple of weeks ago. But also, would you force them to turn them? I mean, to be fair, if you were him and someone, we got a ghost in his boxes, we can't turn them off. Would you believe them, or would you force them to turn them off?
Well, they indicated that the machine was it's not infinite. It cannot hold an infinite amount of ghosts.
Yeah.
So it may overload at some point. He's treated as an antagonist because he's bursting into the Ghostbusters thing and he's like, turn all this off. This is unsanctioned equipment or whatever he says.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, but it's also true. We're using equipment that we're not really authorized to use.
Yes.
I mean, if I turn around one day and saw people on the street that could fire like a massive beam out of them, I'd be like, it's one of those antagonists that you get occasionally where the villain makes sense.
Okay. Well, yeah, actually, I feel like that was done by design.
Yeah.
I feel like that was on purpose.
He's only a villain to us because we know that there's ghosts in there and we know what happens.
Think about this for a second, right?
Yep.
You've heard you're EPA official. You've got you've done your time. You've got a family at home.
Done my time.
You've done your time in the job. You're a veteran of the job, right? You're a veteran of the job.
Yeah.
You wear your badge. You've got your suit, right? You got your kids at home. You like to come home on a Friday night and put your feet up and have ribeye steak and mashed potatoes, right?
Sure.
Wonderful. I'm painting a good picture for you, Corey.
Okay.
And then one day you hear down the pipeline that there's these 3 discredited college professors running around New York with unlicensed nuclear accelerators on their backs, keeping whatever extremely toxic byproduct that in some sort of homemade containment unit they slap together out of whatever chicken wire duct tape and good vibes. You probably want someone to look into that, right? And then you found out they were doing this all because they wanted just purely to turn a profit from shooting these atom splitting laser beams at ghosts. You probably want someone to go out and check that out, right?
I mean, again, it's just because we know that they're in the thing, and we know that if they escape, it's going to be bad. That's why he's a villain to us. It's like
we also know that Peter Venkman is probably not a very nice man. Another thing about Walter Peck is when Ivan Reitman ran into William Atherton, who plays Walter Peck, a few weeks after, you might know about this. William Atherton became enraged as he told Ivan Reitman that people would after viewing this film, would try to fight him in bars, would heckle him in the street as he's walking down the street.
Yeah.
And the tip of it all was one day, shortly after the film's release, he was walking down a stretch on 7th Avenue in New York City, crowded by school buses and tourist buses, where he was heckled by a massive bus, where everyone was shouting at him, referring to that very famous line that Venkman says, where he refers to him as having no.
Yes.
Less of one. So that's he can't escape that. So now, and also this is actually Columbia Pictures' highest-grossing film of all time when adjusted for inflation.
Yes,
did you know that?
That is correct.
Also, we're in the trivia section now, Corey.
Yes, we are.
We've hit the trivia mile. We've busted the trivia mile wide open.
I did look at trivia, and I couldn't remember all of it. Isn't this also? This could be a different film because I looked up 2 films. Isn't this also like the second highest grossing comedy except for Home Alone?
I do believe so.
I think it's the second highest. I think it's the highest until Home Alone came around.
Egon never smiles.
Okay.
If you watch the entire film, he never smiles. So
fair enough. I love the fact that someone out there has noticed that.
Has noticed. I've watched the entire film and every single scene, looking at his face.
Well, no,
he's never smiled.
We would have got like halfway and gone, wait a minute. Do you smile in this film? I had to rewatch it all over again.
Yeah. Do you know that this was set in the same film universe as Die Hard?
Is there like a billboard or something?
No, it isn't actually. Apart from the fact that William Atherton has a role in both. In Die Hard, he's the head of the news station, and in Ghostbusters, he's obviously Walter Peck. But Reginald Fell Johnson, the guy that plays Sergeant Powell in Die Hard. He's in Ghostbusters. He's the guy that lets them out the the jail cell.
Interesting.
And it's been confirmed that they're the same character. But as for a real rating, do you have anything?
I do indeed.
Okay. What have you got?
I've got an 8.5.
Oh, 8.5. Nice. I was going to go for a 9.
I was thinking 9.
But I think 8.5. If we can level on 8.5, then I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, IMDb I think gives it a 7.6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I believe it does.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking, you know what? I think 8.5. I feel like it's a decent film. It's a good film. I am giving it the exact same rating I gave Johnny English.
Oh yes.
For different reasons. But no, I think it's a good film. It's a very, very good film. It's a very fun film.
Yeah.
Get your family round. Get all warm, blankets.
Yeah.
Get some food.
Get Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Of course. I think it's a fun film to sit down and watch. You know?
Exactly. It's a safe option. You know, you kind of can't not be in the mood for Ghostbusters. It's one of them films.
Of course, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I don't know what to watch. Yeah, Ghostbusters. You know? No one's going to say no to Ghostbusters. A piece of paper just fell off my table. I'm going to ignore that.
Fair enough. Well, perhaps that piece of paper has your weekly rec on it.
I'm going to recommend the first Space Jam movie, not the remake. Space Jam is dumb, right? It's Michael Jordan with the Looney Tunes versus aliens.
Yeah.
Who play basketball. And Danny DeVito's in it. And it's very good fun, and it's very good comedy. And I like the Looney Tunes. I'm a Looney Tunes fan.
Mm-hmm.
All right? I've got VHSs of the Looney Tunes. I'm really showing my age.
Yep.
I used to watch this on VHS when I was younger because it's just a fantastic film. So I'm going to give it a 9.
A 9?
A 9. I said 9 really long because I was really tempted to say 9.5. But
a 9. Oh, well, if you would have given it a 10, you know what that means. But
we would have had to review it.
A 9 is good because we will probably review it at some other point.
It's just fun. It's just fun concepts, right? Just give us some fun. There's no point to the whole point is we're playing basketball. You're not watching it for the story. You're watching it to see Michael Jordan dunk on some aliens.
I think that draws to a close our first review of Ghostbusters 1984. And we may come at you with another review of the newest Ghostbusters Afterlife.
True.
But until then, we'll be back next week. It's nearly December, and we know what December is. It's Christmas month.
It's Christmas. Oh, that reminds me. On this day, many moons ago, the Star Wars Holiday Special was released.
Oh, wow. Don't even. Dare we go back to it. Well, I'm getting out of here as fast as possible. So it will be a goodbye from me. Goodbye. And a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.